What's up, ballers? Welcome back to the NxtUp Ballers Podcast, where we spotlight the people building something bigger than themselves. And today's conversation is for every person who's ever tried to build something while still figuring themselves out. Because building a brand sounds exciting until you realize you're also building yourself at the same time. Today's guest knows that journey firsthand. Ashely Franklin is a marketing strategist, creative lead, and the founder of Remarkable Marketing and Ad Solutions, a boutique marketing firm helping businesses grow through storytelling, strategy, and experiences that actually connect with people. But behind the strategy and the branding is a story of perseverance, reinvention, motherhood, self-doubt, and continuing to show up anyway. From working full-time jobs while building her business on the side, to doing free and low-cost work just to prove herself, to eventually betting on herself completely, Ashely's journey is about becoming visible while still becoming confident. Let's get into today's episode. Ashely.
Hi, Sister Ashely gave Sister Church Girl for sure, which of course is fine. I'm here for it. But hey, girl,
come on,
hey.
Saints. No, just kidding.
Saints and ain'ts.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Ashely.
How are you?
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
So excited that you are here.
Yeah.
People who have been watching this season know that this season has been full of my friends, and you are my friend in real life.
Yeah.
And I can't wait until people just get to know you. You just have so much to offer the world, and I'm just excited about the space you are in life.
Yeah.
And I think you just have so much knowledge, experience, and I know that you are going to be able to just encourage some people. They're going to hear something in your story that's going to be able to allow them to know that they can do it too.
Amen.
So, you ready to get into it?
Let's get into it.
All right. So, the first question that I ask every guest is, what does legacy mean to you?
Legacy is what I can hand down to my children and my children's children, whether that be good habit that I build, whether it be the community that I build, whether it be the business that I build, something that has a very strong foundation, that has some money behind it, right?
Okay.
And something that I can give over to my children that they don't necessarily have a burden to carry. That's what I want to be known for. That's what legacy means to me.
Yeah. And I appreciate that you mentioned, it's not, yes, it is money, and money is great. But I think sometimes, I've heard so many ways this question has been answered, but I think this is also the first time I've heard someone say community, right? That is so intentional. We are privileged right now to just kind of have this unspoken thought of I'm going to be here forever. I'm going to be here for my kids. They're going to grow old. I'm going to see that I'm going to have, but the reality is, if we're intentionally building our community now, whenever God takes us home, right? Whenever something happens, that your kids are okay because of the people that you have intentionally placed around them and in your life. So really, thank you for saying that, because that is, I don't think people think about legacy in that way. And I think that's wonderful.
I'll add, it's the greatest asset of my life, to be honest.
Yeah.
I am a tribal person. I grew up in a neighborhood all of my life where the people around me raised me. And I feel like I can't go anywhere in the city without somebody recognizing me, my mother or my grandmother. And that's a legacy thing.
Yeah.
So I feel like passing that on and teaching my kids to build community. Like you said, I can be gone tomorrow, but there are people who will come and love on my children and love on my family, right? My internal family, just, based on my loss and the love that would be absent because of me not being there.
Right.
So community is top on my list for sure.
Yeah. So I want to dig into just something that actually you started to hint at already, was this is where you're from. Born and raised, Columbus through and through. This
Proudly.
is... You can have that.
I am. Proudly, I am a Buckeye. I am a Columbus native, born and raised, all of those things. Yes.
Yep. So you also mentioned like you already had like a built-in community. So you're the oldest girl of four, right? Oldest of four girls. How did that shape just like the way you move through life now? Like growing up the oldest, how did that, at a very early age, how did that begin to shape Ashely?
Sure. I felt like, one, I had to be the example in a lot of ways. And honestly, it wasn't necessarily something that my mother put on me.
Right.
But when you're the first to do it and you are the first to walk through the door and the first to get the call from the school or the first to, it weighs on you, right? Because the reaction you get is a ripple effect for other people. And so that has formed a perfectionist spirit inside of me where everything that I do has a caution before it. Everything that I produce has to be perfect in every way because the ripple effect of it not being said, you know, whatever standard of perfection could affect the people behind me or coming after me and also cause a burden for the person that is doing their best to bless me, right? So I think it is something I am unlearning as a position, as an oldest daughter. Granted, there are some benefits because I do get a lot of first experiences. I have been able to be the person who has done all of the things that may not have trickled down in a beneficial way to my siblings. For instance, I was in a cotillion. I was in numerous and traveled into numerous plays and, you know, experiences in life that it was good for me, but it may have not been something offered to my siblings, right? Because I was in position. Yeah. So there's a good and bad with it, but it's definitely something that I have to be intentional about unlearning in some cases in the space of being perfect at it all.
No, as the oldest daughter, you already know. There is also always this consistent space of being of like unlearning. I actually was just dealing with the situation mentally this morning where I was like, I need to text my sister and tell her that was pride. Yeah. Like, because I had to take care of you for so long, pride stepped in away when you asked if I needed help, right? Yeah. Like, even so, like, there's this sense of hyper independence, this sense of like always feeling like you have to show up and, you know, you can't ask for help and you can't, like, all the things that can get in the way of, we can get in the way of ourselves, we can get in the way of our business and other relationships and all of that. So I want to ask you too, how did being the oldest make you naturally independent or like make you feel like you always had to carry more?
More? You know, I'll be honest. So, and this is like personal. So my mother, we are stair steps, me and my sisters. There's 4 girls. And my mother did the best that she could to make sure there wasn't a hierarchy. Yeah, so there wasn't a hierarchy. There is no listen to your older sister. We are all on one even playing field until I started to branch out and have my own personality and go after the things. And there's like, oh, actually, you follow that one, you know? So that kind of...
She's the one.
Yeah. That kind of came later in life. But in all actuality, a lot of the times I heard, like, she ain't got to listen to you. And I was like, oh, okay. Which caused me to have kind of check myself in terms of like trusting my own thoughts and trusting, you know, what comes from me. Because if the people who are raising me are not reassuring me in my thought process, but also, you know, telling me that like, what you've done, what you've experienced doesn't count in a retrospect of like what they're going to experience. It stifles you a little bit. So the weight that I carried was like, am I doing this right? Am I being a good influence? Is this going to really benefit our family? Which in actuality kind of reflects in my business today because I'm like, I can do everything to prepare, but really, what are you going to do to launch? And why is it going to require reassurance from external factors for you to really do that? Yeah. So yeah, that's a challenge.
Yeah, no, I get it. Carrying that burden, as you mentioned, like of perfectionism, carrying that burden of like, how will this affect people who are coming behind me? How will this affect the people that I actually plan on touching in my business? How do I, you know, like all that is things. Weight. Like that is real weight. And to an extent, we'll get more, we're going to start moving into business here in just a moment. But to an extent, like the weight of that like responsibility is necessary in entrepreneurship. Like you have to be able to like, you can't just be out here willy nilly. Like I hope it figures itself out, you know? So, you know, it is when we think about, I like to start with how you kind of started and how you were brought up, because a lot of it does show up in how you carry yourself in business and family and all of that. And I like to give our listeners and watchers like color to the conversation in the sense of like, one, you're human, right? Like having a very real human experience. And also part of being human is like all of these things that helped form me are also going to show up in my business or show up and, you know, grace and things like that. But it is important just to make the point of like, the weights, what they say, the heavy is the head that wears the crown, right? Like in the sense of like when you're just responsible of so much, there is some weight that is attached to that. Okay, so your journey to Remarkable was anything but linear. Take us through how you got here. I want you to take us through how you got here. But was this something that you always wanted to do, or did this just kind of like fall into your lap through the journey? Yeah.
Now, in hindsight, I feel like it was always something that was going to happen. I feel like there were like little glimpses early on in my life in terms of like public speaking, my ability to keep things organized, my ability to see foresight and, you know, have foresight, and have a vision about things and actually execute on vision, right? A lot of those things were being implemented into me as a child and growing up. How Remarkable Marketing came about, I was in school and again, determining to graduate and get my degree regardless of everything in life. And God gave me a vision about a T-shirt line. And the T-shirt line was...
When you say school, is this...
College, yes. And God gave me a vision about a T-shirt line for a campaign about forgiveness. Matthew 18:22, you're supposed to forgive someone 70 times 7, which means an infinite amount. And I believe that was one of the major things that has stifled us as a community is our inability to forgive. So that turned into like me designing T-shirts, me building a website, all within like a logo, everything within 24 hours. Okay. Right? And I was like, well, God is feeding the vision, you know, somehow. So I extended that to someone else, and they were like, the T-shirt vendor that I needed. She was like, you built this website? I was like, girl, in my sleep. Like, it was just a gift that came to me, and it blossom from there. And I know that God is always going to make room, like your gifts are going to make room for you. And so that trajectory lended into other opportunities in a leadership role with, you know, serving on the board for Columbus Urban League, working with Dress for Success and some of the other reputable nonprofits within the city. It literally just blossomed from there. One, with giving my testimony and where I wanted to go, and two, really God just fueling it. And that's how, you know, we literally just following God, following what the vision he gave me every single day is something poured into me about my business that I cannot ignore. And through all of the trials, through all of the journey, it's literally steadfast. And so that's how we were able to be here today.
The thing that stayed.
Like
through it all, this is the thing that kept going.
1,000%.
So one thing you didn't talk about that I do want to bring up through this next question is like the leap. So you didn't talk about working the 9 to 5, because we do have people who watch and listen who are like, I want to be an entrepreneur, but I don't really know what it takes, and I'm too scared to take the leap, and like all of that. So a lot of entrepreneurs romanticize taking the leap. It looks so good. The internet, social media makes it look like this is the life, right? But you spent years building your business while still working a 9 to 5 and raising 3 boys. What did that season really feel like emotionally?
You know, at first it was a hobby. Like, it was an escape for me from my like real life, because the work that I was doing was simply there to bring in a check. I was not excited about it. But I could do it, right? I could use my skill set to do it. And I had been in that position for 10 years, right? So I was giving a different level of stability to my family, but I was not growing within the company. I was going to sit in that same cubicle, in that same seat for however long I decided to be there, right? Once I graduated and saw all of the opportunities that came to me, I felt like that was God telling me that it was time. And it was time for something. I don't know if that was was quite the time when it was time for something, right? So I took that leap of faith and quit my job, my stability, because I felt like my faith was bigger. And it was something. Yeah, it definitely happened, but my faith was bigger. Yeah. I'll be honest, because no amount of money that I could sit at a cubicle and make was going to strip away the vision that I was getting from God, was going to strip away the ideas, the way, like literally the directives of how to do this business, what it's supposed to come to, right? So I could not ignore that. And when I can't ignore something, it means I'm supposed to learn something from it. And there was the leap, right? There has been times where I've gone back to corporate and not necessarily in my career path, but just gone back because I got to feed my family and making sure that not only my boys see my resilience, but my boys see that I can go lick my wounds and get back to it. You know what I mean? Like, and it won't be down for long, so I've learned that my resilience, can carry me. My faith can carry me. But I always have to be ready for the pivot. I always have to be ready and in position to be able to say, like, yeah, this next year, it's got to be a grind year. It's got to be with the platform, the structure, the infrastructure is building every single time. You know what I mean? And that you can't take away from me. So.
What would you say that you felt emotionally through all of that, though? Like, how was...
It's the ghetto, but that's life. Like, I feel like it's the... But honestly, I was going to have those woes. I was going to have that up and down. I was going to have that regardless. And why not do it in a space where I am building something that will give me fulfillment, right? I was going to be at work every day, even in a point where they were doing layoffs when I was going to give my notice to quit again, right? God was like, this ain't stable, this ain't structured, this ain't like, this is not where your source is.
Go any moment,
it can go any moment. And so that was not giving me peace. The corporate world is not a peaceful place, right? So you just got to deal with whatever demon you want to deal with, to be frank. And it's an emotional process every single time. Every single time there's going to be something, but I've learned in this that I can spiral up. I can definitely do it different. And the thing that I've prayed about most is, Lord, let the time in between be shorter. And sometimes it's been months, you know what I mean, in between. And most recently, it's been days. You know what I mean? And I'm so thankful for that more than anything, because the spiral is going to happen in whatever case. You know what I mean? The devil is he's going to do the doubt thing, right? So you got to be able to pull on your resources, get in that toolbox, get in community, and let people reassure you of all of the hard work that you cannot see that you've done so far.
I love that you said, like, emotionally it's the ghetto.
It's the ghetto.
Because you really do. You be like, why? Why did I do this? Like, talk about, like, the times you actually, like, wanted to quit and what made you, like, keep going anyway. Because that's it, right? Like, you are choosing your hard. And at the point where you're saying, like, the hard that I'm choosing is entrepreneurship. There's still going to be days like, why in the world did I choose this? Right? Like, I'm quitting and I'm going back. Or like, this is not actually what I thought I was signing up to. But like, in those moments, what made you keep going anyway?
To be honest, nothing else works out. I cannot say this isn't it. I can apply for a million jobs. I can put myself in every position, but everything has always led me back. Once I decided, it has led me back here, right? So it's like, why go against the current? If God is one, giving you the security, giving you the space, he ain't no building came undone, ain't nobody, you know what I mean? Nobody gone hungry. Why are you fighting against the current? It is a season, right? So I think that having my mind checked, having your mind right, is the most, like, the best thing that you can do in this season, in any season in entrepreneurship, is having the right mental state. More than anything.
Having a stable place. And like you said, community, the people that's able to
remind you. Remind you more than anything, and pray for you and say, listen, I'll hold you accountable. You know what I mean? Like, you said you wanted to do this, and this is what this looks like right now. So
and it helps having other entrepreneur friends.
Yes.
Which is a good point.
Yes, because you definitely get the people who don't understand the process, and they like, girl, what are you over there doing? It looks whimsy.
It looks crazy.
And how did we get here? And I'm like, I'm over here fighting for my life.
And
for the whimsy. Right, because what?
I would have it
any other way.
I would say, because I know you, like, your why behind this is a large part of also what keeps you going, right? But I thought it was beautiful when I asked you to send me your bio was you said specifically that you describe yourself as someone who wants to make things matter. Mm-hmm. Where did that come from and what does that actually mean to you?
Yeah, so my tagline is where we make your mark on the world. Everybody has a unique fingerprint. Mm-hmm. Everybody has something unique about them. And they don't always realize that what's unique about them is what matters, mm-hmm. right? And so with that very unique, very identifying personal approach to my marketing, I think it helps people realize what you do matters. Mm-hmm. How you show up in the world, how organized you are, your foundation, all of this stuff matters. Mm-hmm. And in the right hand, it will bring you
your hand.
My hands. It will bring you. It should bring you some sort of reassurance and inspiration and motivation, right? So that's what it means for me. That's where it came from.
Okay, so with Remarkable, mm-hmm. you help brands become visible while behind the scenes, you're still learning to fully see yourself because there's a large part.
Hit me where it hurts, back.
But it's the honesty about it all.
Sure.
Because I think what I really appreciate about our guests that come onto the show is just like, I'm just going to be honest. Mm-hmm. I'm a real human being, like trying to figure this out. Mm-hmm. I produce great work. Mm-hmm. And also while I'm building your brand, I'm building my brand, which is me. Mm-hmm. Right. So as a strategist, you help other people communicate confidently. But was there ever a gap between the confidence you projected professionally and how you actually felt personally?
Right now.
Okay.
And to be completely honest, I feel like I'm coming out of a season recently participating in a Goldman Sachs Black Women in Business program where we have really got to the nitty gritty of what we've been doing. Mm-hmm. And I confessed on the other day, I was using my gifts to get paid. I didn't have a business. Mm-hmm. And now I have a business. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I was insecure. I was putting stuff out there and just really shooting at the dark for, I want to say, the past year or so, where now I feel much more confident in what my capabilities are and what I'm able to offer to the world. And I can speak to it more fluidly because of what I've been through, because of the evolution of it all, and because of the emotional roller coaster. I had to evolve, right, and get real with myself and build some tough skin. And that came in the season where I had the ability to rebuild my foundation and come out on the other side where things are much different.
And again, I'm going to keep saying this because I do know you. What I will say about your transformation, and I say it to you in private, but I'm saying it publicly, I have watched you literally, and this is going to go into my next question, but I've seen you literally do things for free. I've seen you again, just make it and be I can do this, but also I'm doing this because I need the money. But what I tell you, once you locked in to this really being your thing, this is what you really believe that God created you to do, there has been a switch in the amount of performance, the amount of elevation in your work, the amount to where you're just able to speak strategically to people's plans and people's visions. Your creativity has been girl, where'd that come from? But there's been this beautiful sense of locking in. This once you really decided oh no, I'm here. Once you started to get resources to help you produce better and really to hone in your craft. This is really only this podcast. I'm telling y'all right now, wherever my camera is. No, this is really the beginning.
Yeah.
And that is so beautiful, so beautiful to watch.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So I'm going to give you your flowers.
Thank you.
Okay. So as I mentioned, and as you started to allude to as well, you have done work for free. You have done work at low cost. You've done community work. And you have worked with people that have probably underestimated you. But looking back now, do you think those seasons built resilience or survival habits that you later have to break?
Very much so survival habits that I later have to break.
Okay.
I've literally had clients you okay? What's changed? What's different? The conversation's different. Everything is different, like you said, because I am no longer in survival mode, because I have a foundation that I know will work, right? And so I'm not not discounting the experience that I got, right? All of those organizations, all of those companies built me in a different way, and so I welcomed those challenges. I knew that there was going to be a season that was necessary, but with all of the love in the world, it's no longer here.
Yesterday's price ain't today's price.
It's not.
It happens.
Yeah,
that's okay. And we love that for you.
Yeah, that's it. It's cool though.
So Remarkable has gone through so many different iterations.
Sure.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
But so many.
Yeah.
What did you have to unlearn about success and entrepreneurship as you evolved?
That I cannot do everything. And that it's not my job to do everything.
Yeah.
With this restructuring, I have to operate as the CEO and CEO only in order for my company not to be bottlenecked, right? And so being able to delegate, putting SOPs in place so that things can be able to hand off and be done properly, right? Like I said, the foundation's different. So being able to not say, I can take this project on because I know I can do it, but being able to say, okay, now my team has the capacity to be able to take on this project, and this is what the outcomes will be now that I have a team in place.
Right.
You know what I mean? So my mind is just different entirely. Yeah.
No, that's good. Because it is like, if you're going to grow your business, if you're going to realize that this process is also growing you, you have to stay in a place of like, get your pride and ego out the way and realize you still are learning and unlearning, and it is never going to stop, right? Like,
and I can't fully operate in the gift that God gave me if I am doing everything. If my hands are full with everything, I am not the person that sends the emails.
And too, we're like business alone. I mean, yes, business as well, but like, we're literally just vessels.
Very much so.
If I'm not pulling along somebody else, if I'm not trying to help somebody else operate in their gift, and God done gave me this, and what, I'm not even using my gifts properly. I'm being, disobedient, or I'm not, doing this in a way that I'm not being fully functioning in the purpose that God has given me.
Yeah. And I also love the fact that you said that, like, I am standing in the way of somebody else's blessing.
Yeah.
If I'm not giving this person who has built their business to do what I need the opportunity to do what they love to do, what am I doing? Like, why am I stopping their flow? I need to, I got real clarity on what position I'm supposed to be in so that I can delegate and ask for help, right? Because there goes the pride. Not asking for help, expecting people not to give me. Not expecting the support, not expecting people to come through with the real support, not expecting people to hear me properly, right? All of those things I have to unlearn in order to really operate and have a business.
So good. All right. So at this point, Remarkable has done, I mean, even just the businesses that you were helping when you were doing it for free or very low cost, like whether they were paying, a smaller rate, or whether you are taxing them what you are worth now, there's no doubt that you have helped businesses grow. You've secured media features for clients. You have helped clients sell out events, and you've helped them clarify their messaging. But what do you think most brands are actually struggling with beneath the surface? So you've really been able to get in there and help people. But once you get in there, you see things happening behind the scenes. We're talking about building brands behind the scenes. And once you get behind the scenes, what are most businesses actually struggling with?
They don't know what marketing is. They think social media alone is marketing. They don't have a strategy. They think that you can just throw something at the wall and make it happen, right? Marketing should be the foundation, should be a part of the foundation you build with your company. It is not something that you build later or try to ask someone to come in and structure for you later. When you have the idea, in the idea phase of your company, you should be considering marketing, because how are people going to know about your business, right? How are people going to know what you do? And if you have no strategy about that, right, or no plan about your marketing, or it's something that's a last thought, then it's not integrated in your process, right? So that silver lining that you're looking for people to see about whatever you're offering, they will not see because it was not built from the beginning. So the strategic part of marketing is what people miss a lot, right, in their foundation, and then they turn to social media to tell them what they need. And so that's another thing that people are missing, right? Digital marketing is not the end all be all, and you have to have a strategy strategy to engage with your client. Don't get me to starting, girl, because
no, this is great. I mean, we have a lot of I was going to ask you to keep going because this is not knowledge that a lot of entrepreneurs know or business owners know or even, think about. They do think that it is just like, I got this. Now I'm just going to put it out there to the world.
It can be that. It definitely can be that. And once people realize that it marries with your company, it literally can be the wife. It can be the bride. It can be the things that helps you get the structure, get the people in the door, get the message out there, bring the awareness.
You better also be giving marriage advice. No, just kidding.
But there is a necessary incorporation that needs to happen on a foundational level before you think you can go out here and tell the world what you're doing or giving or, in any capacity.
That's good. So do you oftentimes find yourself just like in a place of either scratching everything they got and just be like, we got to redo this? Or is there a lot of, having the hard conversations of like, this is a lot more than I thought this was going to be. This is fine. We're going to work with this, but this is going to be a lot more work than what you thought.
I'm a life is about balance person. I'm going to tell you what's wrong, but I'm also going to give you the spaces and the opportunity to fix what's wrong, right? So I'm not going to come in and say, hey, like, this is terrible. And if you don't want to do what I say, there's no way, right? I'm going to give you avenues and ways out that fits your infrastructure that makes makes most sense for you. But there has been times where I had to come in and say, hey, you are not in the space that you think you are in, right? And you have to go back to the drawing board to be able to get better results. A lot of people don't want to hear that because they're already umpteen amount of money in, right? And so they don't feel like they can go back and restructure. And they end up spending more money doing the, throwing spit at a wall than really having the foundation to make sure that everything scales properly.
That's really good. No, help the people.
I'm going to. More to come.
Help the people. Yes. Because I have been to or been a part of a lot of accelerator programs, and that is not taught. That's not taught. It's not taught that think about this also in the beginning.
Or it's a brief conversation, and the conversation's directed towards digital media or digital social, or like digital marketing, which is, again, a huge disadvantage for people who are wanting to build a business because the conversation has to happen early.
Thank you. That was good. All right. So something also powerful that you said in your bio was marketing isn't just about visibility. It's about trust. Can you unpack that?
Sure.
Because I would imagine, as you mentioned, like you're going behind the scenes and there has to be this level of trust that's built with these companies for them to be like, all right, well, if I am going to have to rethink this whole thing and the way that I've been doing it, you have to establish that early on. Can you speak to that?
Sure. A lot of the times, trust is built in vulnerability. So if people are willing to be vulnerable with me and I'm being honest with them about where they are, we are able to build trust, right? Because I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but I'm also going to give you a solution. And so with that, it's easier to say, okay, let's go in the direction of restructuring, or I can't do that right now. But that's up to you, right? But it takes vulnerability, it takes honesty, and it takes the work that I did for free to prove that it can be done.
It can be done.
That's really it.
That's good. I feel like I wanted to say something else about trust. What does that look like for a business? And what does that look like for you? Like vulnerability. So yes, trust is important, but you mentioned vulnerability is what establishes that trust. Like what is that?
It's all in a conversation. So a lot of the times in my discovery calls, I am approaching it not as your marketing person. I'm approaching it as a consumer. I'm approaching it as like, where are the gaps and holes in your whole entire process that I am able to come to you and say, hey, this is what I've noticed. And then that opens the door for people to say, this is something that I have not been able to pay attention to, or I just didn't even think about it, right? They don't have it in their mind to even, because nobody's a marketer, right? If I'm coming to you, you're not the marketer.
Right.
So your brain is not even going to think and consider all of these things that are affecting your messaging and how people, are getting your messaging out.
Yeah.
And I always say there's a silver lining in there. There's always something that you've been doing that is beneficial to you that you can continue to do that keeps you consistent while you are restructuring. So it just takes to have a real honest conversation and point out some things that people may not think about or consider, and then that opens the door for them to be honest about everything else.
I was listening to something the other day, and it was just saying, like, a lot of times the confidence that's needed and trust is built, like, even through the wins. Do you find that, like, if there aren't instantaneous wins or there aren't instantaneous results, you find that your customers just start to waver on you some?
Yeah, I think that's another foundational conversation that I have. Marketing is a long game. That's why you have to put it in your foundation, right? It's like a tree analogy. The tree grows upward and below the earth at the same time, at the same rate. And if you are only hitting the tree in the beginning, in the middle, if you're only looking at your business from the middle versus how it's growing up and below, then you're going to miss everything that's happening, from both views. And so if your foundation is not built with the marketing in mind, with these things in mind, there's no real way to navigate after that unless you go back to the foundation. Yeah. So, I don't know if that answers your question.
No, it is. Because it is. If they, again, if I can see how, if you put the plan in place and are like, well, it's been 2-3 months and I haven't had any new business, or you stripped this plan and it was kind of working this way, but now it's not. I could see how they could say to you, like, this ain't working. This ain't worth it. This is not worth what I'm paying. I'm not seeing it. So.
And a lot of people have been burnt. A lot of people have agreed to something. But again, it's about knowledge and knowing what marketing is, right? And so my hope and goal is to be able to give people some real understanding and like foundational information, especially small business owners, because they are giving their last in a lot of cases. And you want to be able to do it strategically. And having the knowledge about what it takes to really do full-scale marketing is something that is a miss.
And understanding that marketing and promotion are also two different things.
Also two different things, right? So people, they don't know.
It's used interchangeably way too much.
Way too much. Yeah. And it's hugely at a detriment, unless you have someone. And that's maybe why I have to be in position to be able to give people the knowledge. And, that's why you cannot be shy or not confident about, the gift that God gave you, because you got to speak and give people the knowledge.
Before we start wrapping up questions, the last two questions, I really just want to this is the space of also just kind of being, I feel like you've been pretty vulnerable, but kind of vulnerable. But in a sense of like, so your story is all about strategy. It's all about building the brand. We talked a little bit about the learning and unlearning and all of that. What is the strategy that you are building for your life, like life outside of business? And through that strategy and branding, because again, as you're building other people's brand, you're also building the brand of Ashely. What story are you finally learning to own about yourself?
I feel like you asked a couple questions there.
I did. I asked
okay.
So
go ahead.
Remember?
Repeat the first one.
Okay. The first one is the strategy. So like this, what is the strategy you've now that you're adopting for yourself? And then the second question is, what's the story that you're finally learning to own about yourself? Okay.
So my life strategy, to be honest, this is the most I've ever had a strategy. The goal has always been for me, especially having children early on, is to raise children who do not have to recover from their childhood. That has been my life strategy, right? And so the places that I lived were always catering to my kids' schools and the schools that were best fit for them. The environments that I was in, community that I was in, has always been catered around my children. And so now being a full-time entrepreneur and going after this, the strategy is to not quit. The strategy is to not only continue, the plan for my children and creating a safe space for them, but to also really decide that this is it, right? Really decide to not quit on myself, to really lean on my faith as much as possible. Build my community. Just everything that I said my legacy is going after that, literally. And then the things that I have learned about myself in this process is that I cannot dim my light. No matter how much, no matter where, no matter what somebody has said, I cannot dim the light that I come in the room with. And so I should be able to use that at my advantage in a way of showing people God's love and giving my testimony, because there is a testimony there. And apparently my light is still shining so that I can give that testimony. So awesome. Yeah, that's what I've learned.
And you started to talk about this a little bit in the last question. But when your sons look back at your life one day, all of it, the sacrifice, the businesses, the community, the stick-to-itness, the although things don't go as planned, there's still a plan in the midst of all of that. What do you hope they understand about what it took to build this? Not just financially, but emotionally.
Oh, that you are capable. You can do hard things. I always kind of ask my boys, what do y'all think about this process? Has it gone too far in terms of your comfortability? They are and have been a part of this every step of the way. And I pray that what I am showing them is not only resilience, but what it looks like to go after things with all of you. Be a human in it all. Be emotional in it all. Some days it's going to look up. Some days it's going to look crazy, right? But I have not quit. My kids, for some reason, they see my business bigger than what it is. My son asks me all the time, right? They ask me all the time, why aren't you the one that's on TV? Why aren't you the one that's hiring people? And I was just I've casted this vision that they believe in real life, right? And so hopefully that's what they're taking away from it all.
That's good. Because the next question was going to be what have they said to you?
Oh, girl, we talk about
I love
it.
That.
Oh, yeah. We talk about it often because I, again, want them to know what I'm going after. And to be honest, I don't want to put it on them to say this is for you, because you don't have to do this.
Go into marketing.
You don't have to go into marketing. You don't have to. But there are things. My sons are definitely maybe that is a career path that I can get into. Maybe there is different ways that I can do and be supportive. And Brandon's making flyers. Aiden's taking pictures of people at their game. James is looking into majors, what schools had the major in marketing. So it's an influence in some way. They see the benefit of it all. It's bigger than, again, right now, but I don't know. They fuel it in a way, for sure.
And I'm sure they're so proud.
Yeah, for sure.
That is the goal. Okay, so we're going to move into what's called the quick play segment. This is just some time to have a little fun.
Okay, let my hair down.
Yeah. It's late already. No, but all right, so there's no overthinking. First answer that comes to your mind. No long process. We don't need a strategy built out on why this is how you came to it and how you're going to roll it out. Okay. Just really quickly, just to have some fun for the watchers and listeners, just to get to know you a little bit. All right. What is the favorite campaign or project you've ever worked on?
My YP campaign, when we did the YP, I Am a YP campaign, the video, I feel like that was my first opportunity to give creative direction on a vision that I had in my head and see it come to life in real life and use my network and resources to pull the people together to do it. It was a lot of fun.
Was that 5 years ago?
It was about 5 years ago. But that, I think that, like I said, the Columbus Urban League giving me the opportunity to, act as the marketing chair, opened my eyes to what I was capable of. And that opportunity to see it spread and people be involved who have different career paths. And it was a beautiful sight to see.
I love that. Okay. One song that instantly gets you into a creative mode.
Just Fine by Mary J. Blige. Oh. Yeah. I would sing it, but it ain't gonna be so nice. But yes, that's my spirit lifting, move your body, everything's gonna be just fine. I love that. It's like a chant almost. It's spiritual. Yes. And you can't help but to feel good and dance and get into it.
Yeah. So when an idea hits your mind, how are you like capturing it? Do you pull out the notes app? Do you pulling out a voice memo? How are you capturing? Like,
I wish I was better at that.
Okay.
Because
you just hope it stays.
Well, God, normally I pray. I'd be like, God, give it back to me.
Okay.
Like, give it back to me. I know it was good. And I'm so churchy. But I'm definitely like, I can see, because when people say things to me, I see it in like a movie. Like if you were to talk to me about your business or an idea that you had, I can see it like animate in my head instantly, and then it grows legs, right? So when God gives me an idea, I'm like, oof, please give it back to me. But I wish I did it more in capturing like the things that like come to mind, because I know that it could be beneficial for something later. I just don't know what. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna charge myself to that. It's just like start writing down stuff for sure.
Yeah. One thing entrepreneurs need to stop pretending about.
That it's easy. And that they don't need people. I think that's it. Like I think the individualism that the world has put us in has caused people to go after entrepreneurship. I think that's the wave of it all, right? It's a natural progression. Be independent, get everything by yourself, raise your own money, blah, blah, blah. Now we're into, entrepreneurs. Yeah. And it's taken away the sense of community that you need to build anything. And so it's not easy, and it's going to take you being vulnerable, and it's going to take you letting your pride aside, because you need community to build anything. Yeah. So yeah.
I actually need to stop calling this section quick play, because it doesn't matter if I'm like one thing that comes, everybody's like, but I got to explain it though.
Because that's not a quick answer. What would be a quick answer?
You could have just said stop. You could have just said that you can't do it all.
Oh, okay, cool. Cool.
All right. Early morning creativity or late night creativity?
Early morning.
If you could say one thing to the woman you're becoming, what would you tell her?
Baby, it only gets better from here. I was going to do it anyway. It got to get better. It's got to get better. Yeah. If I could tell the woman ahead of me, it's going to keep going up. Yeah. That's the only thing I got for her.
I love that. Okay. All right. So every guest is tasked with giving our listeners and watchers a challenge. So what is something that anyone who is listening or watching can start doing today? And that could be anything, but if you can keep it marketing focused, specifically for our entrepreneurs, business owners, anyone thinking about taking the leap, anyone that's a mom, whatever the case may be, whatever you think a great challenge is, what's something that someone can start today that will start changing them?
Get in position. Can I expand on that?
That's not a quick play yet.
No, get in position. I feel like there are a lot of distractions happening right now that's taking everybody off their post. And just like I said earlier, I need you to go after your dreams so that my dreams can be fulfilled. I need you to be in position so that my dreams can be fulfilled. I am in position so that someone else can make their mark on the world, simply put.
Yeah, so make the plan.
Go
ask the question.
The thing that's nagging you, the thing that is in your heart that won't go away, the thing that you don't think it can happen, the things that you feel stifled about. Go talk to somebody. Go share what's in your brain. Get in position.
Because it's coming.
And
you don't want it to pass you by.
No, that's the thing about it. What is for you will not pass you by. So it's going to come to you in some form or fashion.
But you got to be ready.
You got to be ready. Yeah. Get in position.
That's the thing.
Yep.
Well, thank you, Ashely.
Of course.
I appreciate you sitting down with us today and really just sharing some gems with the people. I really do believe that, like, things that you said, whether that is the perseverance, whether that's the keep going, whether that is getting in position, is going to help people just, like, encourage them, really encourage them to do all the things, or just, like, a lot of times people just want to say, like, oh, I'm not alone.
Yeah.
Or, oh, I'm not the only one feeling this way.
Yeah.
Or maybe I do need to rethink my community. So thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing what has worked for you.
I'm so proud of you.
Me, I'm proud of you.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I couldn't wait to be on your podcast.
Oh my gosh. Thank you again, sister. Yes. And we'll see you soon.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Wow, what an amazing conversation. I told y'all it was going to be good. Ashely reminded us that behind every brand is a person becoming in real time, someone learning, stretching, doubting themselves a little, rebuilding, and then trying again. And sometimes the real success isn't just building the business. It's becoming the person brave enough to keep showing up for it. To everyone listening, don't wait until you feel fully formed before you begin. Growth happens while building. Thanks for tuning into another episode of the NxtUp Ballers Podcast, where our guests are built on wisdom, driven by action, and leaving a legacy behind them. Remember, you can listen to us wherever you listen to your podcast. You can also watch us on YouTube. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. We'll catch you on the next episode. But until then, go ball out.